Yeah, didn't get the memo today. I've gone completely the diametric opposite, but then so were we all the diametric opposite from a bowling perspective when you've got 1,308 international wickets on one side and none on the other. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for agreeing to do this. Firstly, just on from a commentary perspective, it's great to have you in the pod and have all of your wealth of experience alongside us. Firstly, are you enjoying it?
Always, yeah. We always love coming to the pod and having a little chat. I mean, we don't know much about hotels, so talking cricket's all right, isn't it?
I mean, from your perspective, Jim, you know, since Lords, obviously you've still been in and around the England side from a coaching capacity. How have you enjoyed doing that? Because from a media standpoint, you've actually got a wealth of experience with the podcast, the Tailenders podcast, your commentary as well.
Yeah, I think probably the coaching side of it's where I've got least experience, but I guess I feel like my role in the team hasn't really changed that much, because certainly in the last sort of 10 years or so, as a sort of senior bowler, it's my job to try and help the other guys coming into the group, try and make them feel settled, help them where I can tactically or technically. So I think from that point of view, my role's not changed a huge amount, but so far I've been loving it.
Well, what we have is numerous questions that have been sent in on social media. You've got Burnley, Barnsley and Bolton here, so it's basically the M62. We're going to start with this one from Attila Thakur. Question to Katherine Sciver-Brunt with a little goat after it's the greatest of all time. It wasn't an insult. That's how she's been described there. From where did you get this much resilience? After having 2 career-ending back injuries, you came back stronger. What do you think? Is it something a person is born with, or do you have to develop it over time? Because they were pretty horrific back injuries. I remember 2018 World Cup in the West Indies, the World T20. I mean, we thought that was it at that stage. Did you?
Yes. So that was my 3rd career-ending back injury, and that was the one where I was in a wheelchair, and everybody thought that was the end, including me. So, yeah, I would say over a span of 19 years playing international cricket, you gradually build resilience without knowing, but my childhood certainly paved the way for that. It was tough at school. I went to grammar schools and got bullied quite a lot. I was pretty chubby as a kid, and obviously that I managed to do that on my own, make that shift. So I've been through a lot as a kid, and that stood me in good stead actually to play for England. Playing with my brother, playing at the local cricket club at Shore Lane with my dad, playing 3rd team, 2nd team, 1st team, playing men's cricket actually, I think, gave me the backbone of what I needed to be great, to get to the highest level. So yeah, it's a hard one, but it's you know, it's how you're brought up, I guess, and then how you deal with that along the way.
I mean, it's a huge generalisation, this, and I know there have been niggles along the way, but you've been relatively fortunate on that front to not have any huge injuries that have kept you out for an extended periods of time. There was the time, of course, where you were sort of brought out of the England side for technical to change things, and was that a difficult period for you?
Yeah, well, in 2006, I think it was, I got a stress fracture, which meant I missed the whole of that summer. So that was a period where I wasn't in a wheelchair, but I was in a similar position where I was thinking, am I going to be able to get back to where I think I should be as a player? Do I want to kind of be bothered going through the rehab and everything like that? So you do have to not only dig deep yourself, but also have good people around you, a good support network to be able to help you get through that. And that's exactly what I had. But it can be difficult, and I think Catherine's spot on. Like, it is a lot to do with you know, how you're brought up, and I guess to an extent you're born with it, but also you do have to develop it over the years.
Okay, let's bash through a few. Michael Smith asks, is there one wicket that stands out from the years of you bowling?
It's hard to say, really. There's been lots of great moments that I just loved, and actually carbon copies of the same ball, I would say. Just a moment that stands out is the T20 World Cup in 2009. It was more the occasion, not the delivery. It had to be on the money, or else it was going into the next county. So, yeah, it was an important, literal moment in time, which, you know, at the end of that day was just an incredible day for England and myself. So,
yeah, an incredible spell as well. For you, Jim?
Well, as we're at Trent Bridge, I think it's probably 2013 against Australia. Michael Clarke. It's probably one of the best balls I bowled, but also the situation of the game. We needed wickets, and to contribute to the team winning was important. And I think, if I'm right in remembering, me and Michael did have a little bit of history as well from previous Ashes test, so it was nice to get one over on him.
Can't possibly think what you're talking about there. But, I mean, you could watch this on absolute loop.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful delivery, an absolute jaffa. Let's carry on then, as we just see this in 16 different angles and plenty of slow motion, the reaction as well. If your careers were 10 years later, this is from Giles, if your careers were 10 years later, would franchise cricket have been more of a draw?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 10 years in the WPL would have been very nice, wouldn't it? I mean, we're obviously not on the same level in terms of money and the way that has gone. I mean, I started out not being paid at all, to then earning a little bit but having 3 jobs on the side, to then fast forward 15 years to becoming sort of a professional, and then the last 5 years of my career actually knowing what it feels like to feel like a superstar, because that's what money does to you. It kind of makes you feel a little bit on top of the world, if you like. You've been paid to do something you love, so that would have been lovely, but also I'm not sure, you know, it would have kept me around as long. I think just the sheer love of it is what kept me here.
What about you? I mean, you've retired from international cricket. Is there's still a window open for James Anderson to don some kind of kit?
Well, potentially, yeah. I'll never say never. I still feel great. You know, I feel like I could play in some capacity maybe, but I have to sit down in the winter and have a think about that. But yeah, I think I'd love to think that I'd still love Test cricket even if I was born 10 years later, because it is that good a challenge of sort of, or a test of you as a person as well as your skills as a cricketer. I think it's just an amazing game, and I think I've grown as a person through playing it. I don't think I would be the person that I am now if I hadn't have played it. So yeah, I'd like to think I would still love it.
The whole Dumb and Dumber preface here, so you're telling us there's a chance. Okay, that's what we're going. All right. We've got 2 great games on the way. The London Spirits are the visitors to Trent Bridge against Trent Rockets. My thanks to James Anderson and to Katherine Sciver-Brunt. And we'll be back with the first ball of the women's game in just a few moments' time.